welcome to another episode of Love, Life and Faith with me, Dr. Abigail. Thank you for joining in today. In fact, I'm very excited about the next 2 or 3 episodes as I'll be talking on relationship. And the question I'm asking today is, are you ready for marriage? Even though I'll be addressing the single men and the single women in today's program, but married couples can still learn from this episode as well. Let's start this way. Marriage is a beautiful thing between a man and a woman. There is no other union more profound, more intimate, or passionate. It is God's design and not man-made, not a man-made idea. I know many people believe in and they yearn to marry. They have a desire to get married. Having the desire to marry is good, but it does not mean a person is ready for marriage. You see, the statistics still show, unfortunately, that over half of marriages end in divorce, which goes to show that either many people just don't know what they're getting themselves into, or maybe simply many are just not prepared for it. Many people get into marriage for the wrong reasons. 4 common reasons I can think of straight away why people rush into marriage. Number 1, it could be pressure from family, from friends, and the society in general. This feeling of I have to keep up with my friends, I have to please my family. That's not a good reason to get married. Number 2, some people just get married because they want security. It could be financial security. So a lady might be saying to herself, he's rich, he'll take care of me. It may be a status thing where a man is thinking, oh, she's from a wealthy family, it'll secure our future. Some is simply to get their stay. I see some who marry others just to get their papers to stay in a country. Number 3, some people fret and say, I'm getting old and I need to have children. So any man or any woman will do. Well, any man or any woman won't do. Number 4, some get in just to fulfill their sexual desires. Singularly, none of these things that I've mentioned are good enough reasons to marry. Marital success is not automatic. Before we can even begin to talk about how to have a happy and successful marriage, we need to address the individuals. You see, it takes a happy, a whole, and a matured single person. When I say matured, I'm not talking about just physical maturity, but emotional maturity. A matured single person who understands that they need to work on themselves first and also understand that they will only get out of marriage what they put in. So my advice to any single person thinking of getting into a relationship leading to marriage is to ask themselves some questions. There are 6 tough questions I'm going to put before you today. They're tough, but they're important. You see, one of the hardest things to do is to ask hard questions concerning yourself. The discoveries may sometimes be hard to swallow, but will do you a whole lot of good eventually when you identify and work on the areas that need to. So I'm asking today, are you ready for marriage? The first question you need to ask yourself is, am I a happy person to be around? Wow, that's a hard question. Ask yourself, do I get along with my partner? Am I arguing with them most of the time? Or do I have a bad tongue and disrespect people or disrespect your friends in front of, your family, for instance? Are you a person that finds it difficult to forgive wrongs and let go? These are areas you can work on. Number 2, ask yourself, can I be trusted? For instance, can I be trusted with the opposite sex? Can I be trusted to manage money well? See, some people would rather spend money on a new outfit, on new shoes, on a new car, and abandon paying the bills. So you have to ask, can I be trusted to handle money well? Financial problems, financial disagreement, remember, is one of the reasons why marriages break up. Number 3, ask yourself, do I lie and hide things? Check, are you secretive and not always truthful? Because for any relationship to succeed, honesty is absolutely required. The man and the woman have to be open to one another. Number 4, ask, do you still yearn for an ex-lover? Wow. Are you still thinking about another person even though you're with a new friend? For instance, if that person called you, the ex-lover called you and says, oh, let's give it one more shot, would you even consider it? You cannot afford to think about somebody else or a past relationship when you're in a current one, if you want to make the current one work. Number 5, ask, do I even have anything in common with the person I'm getting married to? Are we best friends? Can I confide in them? It may be that you like church, they don't. It may be like you like walking in the outdoors, they don't. Check, do we have anything in common? Number 6, also ask, finally, am I too dependent? Do I depend on others to make decisions for me? Do I rely on my partner, to make me happy? Do I rely on him for money? Am I emotionally dependent on my spouse? These are just some of the questions you need to ask yourself before you enter into marriage. And of course, areas to work on. See, you don't have to be perfect. But these questions are necessary because if left unchecked, any of this will put a great strain on any relationship, even the best. It will become too heavy a burden for the other person to carry eventually. So my advice is pause and reflect on yourself. It is important that the right foundation is laid before building a marriage on it. If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? That is Psalm 11:3. Let me share one interesting quote on marriage with you. See, most people get married believing a myth that marriage is a beautiful box of all the things they've always longed for, the companionship, intimacy, friendship, etc. The truth is, marriage at the start is an empty box. You must put something in before you can take something out. Having been married myself for 17 years, I can tell you that that statement is true. You only get out of marriage what you put into it. So if more of us, more singles, choose to work on themselves before embarking on marriage, we'll perhaps have a higher success rate than we currently do. So work on yourself. It may be that you have to seek help from those around you. You may have to sometimes even ask for counsel in order to deal with these issues. Remember what I said, you don't have to be perfect, but you must be willing to make changes. And these are not just questions you ask once and for all, but these are questions that you need to constantly ask yourself and work on, even when you get into marriage. There are also questions you need to ask your partner before you enter into marriage. But time will not permit me today, so you'll have to join me again next week, where I'll talk about questions you need to ask your partner before you enter into marriage. You'll be surprised to find that not many couples are asking the right questions before they enter into marriage. But next week, you'll be better informed. Again, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Please feel free to comment and send some of your questions. Share this video with your friends and family. Remember, life is a gift from God. Live every day by faith and love it.